Hello, everybody. And let me remember to spotlight my little self. Spotlight. There we go. Hello, Coachess, voiceover goddess, Karen-Eileen Gordon. Welcome. Welcome, a warm welcome to the July 2021 voiceover office hours. Happy dance. How is everybody? How is everybody doing? Very nice to see faces. Hello. Hi, Gary, Mindy, Elizabeth, Jennifer, Brand, Susan, Iris. Hello, everybody. Hi. Very excited to be here today. Let's do a check-in. How's everybody doing? How was your 4th? Pop in the chat. How are you? Tell me how your holiday was, and then tell me anything that's going on in your voiceover world. We're going to get into some voiceover independence, going on the theme of 4th of July. What is voiceover independence? And I've got a hot topic today. So hot, it's sort of on fire. We're going to talk about Audacity as spyware. Holy cow, what's going on? It's all over the internet and people are freaking out, so we're going to talk about it. Everyone have a good holiday. Did anybody see fireworks? I went to a giant outdoor venue here along with like thousands of other people standing outside their cars watching these amazing fireworks. It was actually very, very joyful. Let's see. Okay, people still coming in. We'll wait just another moment or two. And those who have been here before with me for office hours know I'm a big fan of tightly capped hydration to protect your electronics. One of my favorite mentors, who I mention all the time because I think she's wonderful. Her name is Sonia Choquette. She, in working with tens of thousands of clients over the years, discovered that about 15 minutes of intense concentration can actually dehydrate you. So as a voiceover artist, particularly important that your beautiful instrument be hydrated. And that is your mouth and your throat and all that good stuff. So please get some hydration if you don't have any already. Very refreshing. All right, let's check the chat. Hello, everybody. I'm going to read some of the comments out because those watching in replay, and by the way, hello to all of you in the future who are watching in replay. We're happy you're here. Let's see. Iris says, not much work since March. We're going to talk about that, Iris. So, yes, the entertainment universe is very gently coming back online. So keep the faith. I know that's very challenging, but we're going to talk about that because there's so many ways to phrase that. And I want to give you all mindset tools to keep you happy and healthy on your journey, because statistically, there's going to be more times where somebody does not select us for their project than times where they do. That's the nature of a voiceover career, a film, television, stage career, anything in the entertainment universe. There's very few people other than, gosh, I'm going to guess like Meryl Streep, Al Pacino, folks like that who have a ratio that's so high that they're direct offer and they just continually get offers and say yes or no to things. And I wish that for all of us, by the way. And until we get there, the statistics are going to be more times than not, we get not selected. And I'm very, very careful to say not rejected, because we're actually never rejected. That's really important for mindset. When somebody doesn't choose you for a project, it's never because there's anything wrong with you. It's never, I want to say never, almost never, because you didn't do a marvelous job with your storytelling. Now, that's assuming that you are working on your craft and rocking your beautiful, authentic storytelling and troubleshooting your space to make sure it's at industry standard, which again is minus 60 dB noise floor. That's quietness. And between minus 12 and minus 6 when you're talking. So assuming you're working on yourself and in a village, by the way, this is a village, you're part of your village, you're doing all of that and putting out wonderful work, sometimes you're not going to get selected. And it's just a matter of somebody else was a match for the project, somebody else was a better match for the other person doing the dual voiceover read, somebody else fit in line with the aesthetic of the tone of the project. It's not about you didn't do an awesome job. So that's one of the many reasons I love to talk about self-created content that you can monetize and sell yourself. That's a way to create money as a voiceover artist without waiting for the email to come in, without waiting for your agent to call, without waiting for a cell phone to ring. And we can talk more about that today if you want to. Let's see. Elizabeth's doing great. Fireworks from the porch, and then prepared for the storm. Yes, everybody doing okay. Everybody in the South Florida area was hunkering down for a potential storm that it looks like is going to miss us, and big prayers and well wishes for everybody that's going to be impacted by the naughty baby, Mother Nature doing her own fireworks. Gary went for a beautiful river walk, nice and low key. Love that. Elizabeth had her first VO animation audition, but not a booking. Elizabeth, first of all, woo on your first animation audition. And I'm going to ask you and everybody, this is a very subtle change. I want you to see if you can remove the word but, B-U-T, not booty but as in however. Remove the word but from your vocabulary. So rather than I had my first voiceover animation audition, but it wasn't a booking, everything after the word but is sort of a minimization. You were like, yay, I had my first audition, but I didn't book it. But the truth is, yeah, you had your first audition, and that is a massive, massive win. And not a booking yet, and there are bookings coming. So it's very subtle in terms of language, but the way that your biology hears that is very important. So just love that so much for you. Susan would love to hear about monetizing content. Yes, we're going to talk about that. Let's see. All right, everybody, let's dive right in. Independence. We're going to talk about voiceover independence and everything that means. Oh, let's see, more in the chat. Rebecca had the first voiceover job from a pay-to-play audition membership last week. Paid within a week. Rebecca, woo! Congratulations. It's very, very, very exciting. Love to celebrate the wins. Always feel free to put your wins. And by the way, a win also is I figured out how to get my noise floor 2 decibels quieter. That's a win. I practiced my storytelling on commercial copy or animation copy. That's a win. If you are working on your craft and auditioning, you are a voiceover actor. I really want you to hear me. If you are working on your craft and auditioning, you are a voiceover actor. The money will come. The money will come. And we're going to talk about creating money on your own and having that be a channel. Any step forward is a win. Rebecca says, I absolutely agree. So tell me about voiceover independence. What would that mean to you if you were to have what I'm calling voiceover independence? What does that mean? Does that have to do with dollar signs for you? Is that about freedom to record 24/7, independent of what's going on in your environment? Would that be a certain agent or success in a certain area of voiceover? And if you don't have the answer to that question today, fear not, just something beautiful to think about. So go ahead and pop in the chat for me. What would voiceover independence look like for you, your vision? It's very nice to have a vision to move towards. It's a very good way to point the compass. And the vision can change, obviously, day to day, but it's a really good question to ask. So anybody who wants to pop that in there if you're feeling brave. Here we go. Susan, steady recording for money while being able to travel. I love this. Mindy, working and recording on projects only that she wishes to work on. Ah, so beautiful. Gary, landing the gig knowing that you worked your craft to earn it, an all-around win. Yes, amen to that, Gary. Iris, having as much VO work as acting work. Oh, that's really fun. I relate to that because as many of you know, I sort of came into the film and TV world and the voiceover world at the same time. So I didn't realize that was unusual until I got farther into my career. But I've been sort of a 50-50 split pretty much my whole career. So I understand that vision and it's definitely possible. Melanie, having versatility to work on a wide variety of projects. I love that. And I'm going to encourage you, as it feels good, all of you, to get as specific as you're comfortable getting. So here's an example. Melanie, I'm going to choose yours. I'm not picking on you. It's just a very good example. Melanie says, having the versatility to work on a wide variety of projects. Now, Melanie may already know this, but I'm going to suggest, if you don't know, Melanie, and everybody here, get really specific. What dream projects? So if I were to wave my magical Hogwarts wand, which I have, by the way, I should bring it. I'll bring it to office hours in August. I promise I'll bring it in the room with me. It's Professor McGonagall's wand, by the way. What projects? which area of voiceover are you wanting to rock these wide variety of projects in? I want you to make a column for each genre of voiceover. Is it animation? Is it commercial? Is it IVR? Is it documentary narration? So I want you to make those lists. What projects currently airing would you be doing somersaults in the middle of the street safely to work on? If somebody said, we're about to hand you your dream voiceover job in every area you want to work in, what are those projects that are currently on TV? Now, obviously, there's pilots coming all the time, maybe some of the things that are coming into our worlds we don't even know yet, but it's a really good exercise for you as CEO of Voiceover U Incorporated. By the way, that's what you all are, Voiceover CEO U Incorporated. Happy dance. Really important for you to have a clear vision. What projects exactly? If I were given the golden pass and booked a series regular on this job today, or the voice of a campaign for this product or service, who are they? What product or service would you, again, do flip flops around if they said, we'd like you to be the voice of our campaign for the next year? And how does a 6-figure contract sound, or a 7-figure contract? I want you to know the names of the projects. And here's a deeper dive: who casts them? What? I want you to know, if you don't already know, I want you to get familiar with the players in this industry and the buyers of your talent. Now, those of you who have a team, who have agents and managers, they know those. It's their job to know all those players and to make those connections for you. However, that doesn't take us off the hook from knowing our own business and our own industry. So I want you to get very familiar with your dream gigs, your dream casting directors, your dream production companies. I want you to know who those folks are. And there's a lot of places online where you can pay to play. Now, pay to play means you get to meet somebody. It's not a guarantee of an audition. The labor laws in the United States are very strict, and there was a huge ruckus in California many years ago over the pay to play casting director workshops. So they have to be very, very clear when you pay money to meet a casting director for Disney or Nickelodeon or DreamWorks that it's not the guarantee of an audition. You get to read for them, and they now know who you are. That's what they must tell you. However, what goes on underneath, as everybody knows, is they now know you. So if there's a perfect project that comes up the day after you meet them, guess who they're going to remember? So really, really, really important. Let's see. Let's go back in here. Really good. Let's read the chat. Susan says improving online. Improving online. Maybe that means improving social media presence. I'm not sure. Susan, clarify that for me. Improving online and getting lots of characters while using voice, working on editing and self-taping, hosting a hot show segment online. Oh, I love that. Now, that's really fun. So let's see. Clarify this for me. Does that mean you hosted, past tense, so you did a gig? So let us know about that so we can celebrate with you. Melanie. Okay, great. Melanie's being clearer on her dream gigs: commercials, audiobooks, episodics, and not end up feeling stuck in any one genre. Okay, I'll work on specific list of dream gigs. Good. So, Melanie, you're bringing up all these wonderful, like, healthy voiceover brain points today, which is this. You, Melanie, and everybody in this group and everybody listening, we are never stuck. So here's an example. In the audiobook universe alone, and I've mentioned this because I love it, I work quite a bit in that space. If you go onto acx.com today, you will find that there are 22 genres of audiobooks. So if that calls you, rather than saying, gee, I'd love to do audiobooks, some really fun homework or home play would be to go on acx.com and see what titles are available and all the genres and see what calls to you. Are you interested in romance? Do you want to voice cookbooks or textbooks? Do you like thrillers? And every one of those 22 genres can have their own demo, which, by the way, you can do yourself once your home studio is calibrated to industry standard. So as specific as you can get. And Melanie, I know you get that. Elizabeth says animation. Beautiful. Susan, improv. Improv is so gorgeous for voiceover. Mindy has a question. Okay, so let's do the question. Should your talent agency be the same agency you're on for your acting jobs? Not necessarily. So it depends on what part of the world you're in. Some parts of the world, the agencies for film and television and commercial have a subdivision that is voiceover, which is absolutely fine. There are agencies that are voiceover specific that only do voiceover. And of course, if you're very immersed and want to lean into that world, there's nothing wrong with seeking out representation that is voiceover only. But also there's no downside to being repped by the voiceover division within your agency. So the answer to that question is it depends. There's no downside to having somebody who also reps you for film and television, reps you for VO. But again, it's about you being CEO of VoiceOver You Incorporated. What's the nature of that relationship? Can you talk to them? Do they know what you can do? Have you gotten them the right tools? Are you guys on the same page? So it's an ongoing partnership, you and your agent, rather than just, well, I have an agent and now I'm going to sit back and wait for the emails to come in. I want all of you to think about your relationships with your agency as partnerships. In theory, really, they are the sales force for you. They kind of work for you. They don't get paid until you, me, anybody books a job. So they're working for free, obviously, all the time. And it's super important to have communication. So if you're one of those people, and I'm raising my hand because I used to be in this category, that was intimidated to have a check-in or a conversation with their agent, I want to gently, gently encourage you to be brave. And maybe that bravery is an email that says, hey, I'd love to be more in touch with you as it helps you to present me. What would that look for like for you, awesome agent? Would you like me to check in once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month? Find out what would help your agent serve you. Talk to them, talk with them. It's so about communication rather than, oh, I have an agent to put on my resume and whatever they send me, I'll do. I want you to try on the idea of feeling much more empowered than that. And so there are agents, just so you know, on the planet, voiceover agents that offer to their clients before you send in a voiceover audition, you send the voiceover clip, fully ready to go, edited and mastered. Send the clip to your agent. The agent reviews it and gives you notes, and you redo it with those notes, and then that second take is what goes in to the casting director. So there are relationships in the voiceover representation world where it's that close, where they work that closely together with you on every audition. So I want you to know what's available out there and take a step towards improving or deepening your relationship with your agent. It's part of your business team. Let's see, so much improv. Beautiful improv being mentioned in the chat. Susan did a short 10-minute spot gig, improv, online live to get a lot of characters creating. Oh, that's magical. Those of you who know me know I'm a huge fan of improv, trained for many years, trained with the Groundlings in LA and LA Comedy Connection. And I use improv in almost every acting gig I ever do on camera and voiceover. So I'm a huge, huge fan of any kind of improv training that calls to you. It will absolutely serve you in your voiceover world. Improv is life, Aminda. Yes, it is. I think the rules for improv are often very good life rules. Elizabeth says, I have a VO agent in New York that is part of my New York agents agency. That's perfectly fine. There are so many really wonderful agents that have a voiceover division. But again, I want to encourage you, if you're not already communicating well with them, to see if there is a place where you might deepen that level of communication, that level of business communication. Chris asks, improv, do I have advice for people who often feel stuck or self-conscious doing improv? Oh, Chris, that's a great question. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you around the independence. Let's make sure we talk about independence from false information, which is the whole audacity thing. And if we have time, let's do independence from stress. So I may want to give you like a beautiful calmness tool. If we have time, we'll do that today. Let me hydrate and let me take that question. Please hold. And let me remember to say this because I'm so excited to talk to all of you that sometimes I forget to mention this part. I am very excited to be offering a 90-day voiceover mentorship program. And I'm interviewing people because I want to make sure we're a really, really good match. I say this a lot because I mean it. I take the investment of your time and your dollars very seriously. I know what it is to invest in training. It's a big deal. So if I'm not a match or I don't feel like I can help you, I won't take your money. And if you're not a match, then I bless you on your way and I'm happy to see you in any way I can assist you. But if you're interested in the mentorship and you haven't already contacted me about that, drop your email in the chat and I will send you information. I'm interviewing this weekend, next week, and it will likely start at the end of this month or beginning of August. Okay, good. Chris, do I have advice for people that often feel stuck or self-conscious doing improv? Yes, I do. So, something that I often tell my voiceover clients when I'm coaching is that we need to give ourselves permission to be terrible. Not only to be like, oh, I'm not getting this yet, to be full on stinky bad on purpose. I call it the big stinky read. That's literally what I call it, the big stinky read. So big stinky read, for example, let's choose something. Let's say I was doing a commercial spot for the post office. That's just what pops into my head today. And let's say, for example, one of the lines was, uh, there's a lot of new things going on at your post office. Okay, that's the copy. There's a lot of new things going on at the post office. Big stinky read would be giant over the top, using my body in a way that I would probably never use it in front of the mic, though I do want you to give yourself permission to be physical in front of the mic. It's very important, but exaggerated, along with a really exaggerated accent or dialect of your choice. Horrible. So, what was the line? There's a lot of new things going on at the post office. So the big stinky would kind of be, there's a lot of new things going on at the post office. And then right away, right after that, go right back in talking as me to my audience of one. There's only one person you're ever going to talk to in a voiceover deal. Right back in without even thinking. There's a lot of new things going on at the post office. Now, that's a short version, but you would do the whole piece of copy in the big, stinky over the top. Again, your choice of accent, your choice of flailing around. Really, really bad. And then right back into talking. And what that does is it short circuits the part of the brain. I call it the inner mean girl or inner mean boy. And we all have one, sadly. We can't make it go away, but we can turn the volume down on it. So, Chris, typically when people, in my experience, when people feel stuck or self conscious doing improv, it's because that inner mean boy or mean girl is saying, I don't know if you're very good at this. Maybe you'll do it wrong. Are you going to embarrass yourself? Maybe you shouldn't be up here. So, it's typically what we would call inner mean girl or mean boy chat that leads us to feel contracted or less free. So, in an improv situation, I would say maybe before you do an improv, and this depends, Chris, are you talking about an improv like in an online Zoom class? Are you talking about an improv for a voiceover? So be more specific with me. If it's for voiceover, one of the big cures is what I call the big stinky. Big, like really be horrible on purpose, and that sort of puts your critical brain in a corner with a blanket and a cookie and puts it to sleep so that your beautiful instincts can come forward. If you're talking about feeling self-conscious or stuck doing improv in a group setting, then the tool that I would recommend is something called a switch to thought. Let me see what Chris says here. Yeah, Chris says, I'm thinking about acting improv first in a group. Right. Okay. So really it's about the switch. It's called a switch to thought. Something that I teach alongside with voiceover, because I love it so much, is called radical self-care for voiceover artists. And they are tools to help get our inner mean girl and mean boy out of the way and keep us calm and centered so that we can bring our best authentic selves to our storytelling. And that can be for voiceover, that can be for film or television or stage, that can be for a pitch meeting or a business meeting or a job interview. They work kind of everywhere. So let me explain the switch to thought, because I actually taught a workshop this morning on radical self-care for some business people in San Francisco. So it's very fresh in my head. So here's an example of the switch to thoughts. So Chris, if you're feeling comfortable and you're aware, type in like one of the thoughts that's in your head when you're thinking about being in that improv class that comes up. And I don't, for me, like in the beginning, when I was doing improv, I remember thinking, what am I doing on this stage? I don't belong here. Somebody's going to find me out. Like in the beginning, I was like, I'm an imposter. So if you have a thought that you're aware of, pop it in the chat. If you're not, I'm going to invite you to see if you can become aware, because in order to switch the thought to something else, we first need to pay attention to what's going on in the ticker tape in our brain. And sometimes they go very, very fast. But if you ask your brain to slow down so you can hear it, it very often will comply. Our brains are very nice that way. Chris says, I see some people that are so fluid and natural. So to me, within that is a comparison. So if I'm feeling timid or shy or just not confident, and I'm watching people being very fluid, Oh, and Chris says, then I feel like my brain freezes when it is my turn. So that's about comparison, right? So I'm watching somebody else and they make it look really easy. And then I feel like when the time comes to me, maybe I'm not going to make it look easy. And maybe that's embarrassing or I'll make a mess of myself. So somebody, and if somebody knows who said this, please pop it in the chat. Somebody said, in order to be an artist, you must be willing to make a fool of yourself. And make a fool of yourself means being vulnerable. Maybe I'm going to make a mistake. Maybe I'm going to make a mistake and have other people watch me. That's sort of the nature of artistry, is we are bearing our souls, because that's what humans do. We are messy masterpieces, and we are so not perfect, despite what social media would sometimes have us believe. And there's more and more, by the way, authenticity in social media, which I'm happy to see lately. But sometimes if you look on social media and people talk about this, people post only the best, right? Because you're trying to put your best foot forward. And the inner mean boy or inner mean girl goes, my life's not like that. I'm not doing all that. There must be something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just about the perception. Yeah. Uh, let's see. Hold on. Let me go back here. Yes, Chris, of course. Yeah, no problem delivering a written line, though. Yeah, exactly. So a couple things to try, and different things work for different people in terms of freeing you up. Before you're in that Zoom class, I would recommend doing something to warm up your body. Like I would do like a crazy dance song to like something that makes you feel very free and fluid before you come into class, just to free up your body a little bit. I mean, it's a whole body experience performing. So anything you do to calm down your mind, your body, or your spirit, any one of those will automatically relax all of you. The other thing to tell you is that it's impossible for your brain not to have an idea. I know this is a weird concept, but I want to give this to all of you. It's really impossible. The human brain has tens of thousands of thoughts a day, and we've been on the planet for a little while, so we've got bazillions of thoughts going in there all the way back to the first time we could form a thought. So if I said to this group, do not think about a purple dragon snorting glitter out of its nose. Do not. I do not want you to think of a purple dragon snorting glitter. The brain automatically goes purple dragon, glitter, purple dragon, glitter, purple dragon, glitter. So the only thing really to get out of the way is the idea that you won't have an idea. That's just a thought, and it's actually not a correct thought. So if you freeze in the middle of an improv exercise, one of the deals with truthful storytelling is to identify what's going on. So maybe for you in that moment, the truth is, wow, I'm feeling frozen. And so are you frozen because you're in a block of ice? Are you frozen because it's suddenly snowing? Like, so if you're actually frozen and you're like, I got nothing to say, use that in the improv. Yeah. So that's one idea. So there's nothing that's off limits, if that makes sense. So, and I'm excited to have you explore it, because the things that come up, those blocks that come up when we try to improvise, are the same things that come up when we try to drop into the center of an authentic story for a piece of voiceover. So they're very, very connected. So it's a very beautiful question. Thank you very much. Let's see. Direct message from somebody, no problem. And for all of you, you can always come late. Please don't worry about it. I don't have any charge on that. Come late, come for 10 minutes and then leave. I'm happy to see your face for as long as you can come. Office hours is very fluid and flexible. Amanda says, Julia Cameron. Julia Cameron talks about that in The Artist's Way. The comparison is the thief of joy. Yes. And it's very challenging, by the way, being in the entertainment industry, because by its nature, the lure of comparing is very seductive. And I'd like you to stay away from it as often as possible. Really, you're comparing yourself to yourself. Where are you now? Maybe where you would like to be, but in a kind and loving way, please. What's your vision? Do you want to make a vision board? Do you have a mission statement for your voiceover life? If not, maybe gently think of crafting one. My mission, or as CEO of Me Incorporated, my voiceovers do this in the world. I bring this to the planet with my voiceovers. Just think about what your vision and your mission statement would be. That's a really fun thing to do for your voiceover universe. Yes, Melanie, we are messy masterpieces. Steal that with love. Please, please. Aminda says, yeah, and not to judge the thought. Yeah, so thoughts are really interesting. So I'm very open about this. I'm a huge fan of therapy. I've been helped many times in my life by very gifted therapists. And so one of the things I had to work on a lot was judgment. I'm a recovering self-judger. I sometimes have to work on that every day. So not to judge the thought. And so a really helpful tool that I got from the world of therapy is infusing our thinking with a sense of wonder. And so I love this because this is really independence from self-judgment, and then freedom to think and express. Yeah. So the idea of injecting wonder would go like this. I didn't do a good job on that read, and they're never going to pick me for that job because I didn't do as good as I thought I did. And then the wonder would be like, huh, isn't that interesting? I'm having a judgmental thought right now about my voiceover work. So kind of stepping back a little bit and going, oh, isn't that fascinating? I just had a judgmental thought. So the judgmental thought isn't like this, covering your face like a wet blanket. You take it back a step and go, oh, isn't that interesting? Look at that. That's a judgmental thought, isn't it? Huh. Okay. And that opening often gives us space to come in and say something like, well, am I 100% sure that's true? Or what else might be true? But in the beginning, when they come in, those judgmental thoughts, the self critical thoughts, they often feel true and part of us. And they're neither of those. So it's a really, really beautiful reminder, Aminda and everybody. Really, really good. All right. I'm going to hydrate, and then let's talk a moment about Audacity. Has anybody been following the wild ruckus on the internet about Audacity as spyware? Anybody following that? We're going to talk about that. Yes, Minda says it's insanity. People are losing their minds. And this, by the way, I just want to give us so much kindness and gentleness here because we're coming out of it, but we're coming out of a pandemic. The variant is being naughty and doing what it's doing. Things have greatly improved, and we still have quite a bit to go. So we're still coming out of 16 months of pretty intense transformation on this planet and personally. So everybody's a little bit overreactive anyway. And so the internet sort of exploded around this. So the idea is that Muse, who is the company that owns Audacity, put out their new privacy policy as they're required to do. And there was some very detailed information, which they're also required to do because they're based in Europe and those rules are very different than in the US. And some of that language really freaked people out. So all of my mentors have circled the wagons and been putting out information. So I want to share some of that with you right now. Let me grab it so I can put some stuff in the chat. Hold on a second. And for those of you who are watching in replay, I will post it underneath the recording. Here's the first thing I want to give all of you. Let me make sure it's being sent to everybody. Hold on, everyone. Okay, so what I just popped in the chat was www.audacityguru.com. That's the website. The gentleman who runs it, his name is Stuart Goffey. Stuart, I say his name wrong every time. It's like coffee. Stuart Goffey. Goffey. Okay, Stuart. We're going to call him Stuart. Forgive me, Stuart. I will get it. I always want to say his name wrong. Stuart is a very working voiceover human and also one of the newest coaches on the VO Heroes team. And VO Heroes is the LA-based year-long voiceover curriculum where I've been a senior instructor for going on 6 years now. Big fan of them, obviously. That was part of my training. So if you ever have any questions about that, please let me know. So Stuart loves audiobooks and Audacity, and he started a newsletter called audacityguru.com. It's free to sign up. This particular article, Audacity tips, let me make sure that's it. I think maybe that's to sign up for the website, but let me see if I can pop this in the chat for all of you. I can also forward it to any of you if you send me your email. I can send you the direct link, but let me send it here. The bottom line is Stuart has been in connection with the developers, as has David H. Lawrence the 17th. They both have relationships with the developers of Audacity. Audacity is not spyware. I'd like you all to take a deep breath and remain calm. Not spyware. Everybody can be calm. Let me see if it'll go in the chat there. I don't know if it'll copy. Let me see. Okay. Try one more time. It's not liking it. No, it's not liking it. So what I will do, if you sign up for Stort's audacityguru.com, there's a recent post from yesterday called OMG Audacity is Russian spyware question mark. But it's not. And he goes through in great detail. I think I forwarded that email to a couple of you because you emailed me yesterday. Really beautiful explanation of what exactly is going on with Audacity and what is not going on with Audacity. So really beautiful to disperse the, I don't want to say false information. I want to say just very reactive information, and to have compassion because people are, like I said, very oversensitive anyway. But all is well. And the wonderful thing is they're so transparent, and so many people are now focusing on them, that if they step one toe out of line and veer in a direction that people don't like, they will do what's called a fork. And a fork, like you eat the table, but a fork is also a software term, and it means that Audacity will yank the program away from what it was that was naughty and recreate a whole new version that is safer. So the Audacity developers are massively committed to staying transparent and clean. So please, everyone, everybody breathe. Everybody breathe. So good. Let me see if this will copy and paste. There's one more. This is from David H. Lawrence the 17th. Let me see if I can copy and paste this into the chat. I think maybe the chat has a character limit, and it's a long article. Let me try it. But I will post both of these. If you're not already, no, it doesn't like it. All right. If you're not already in my Facebook group, and it's Karen-Eileen Gordon's Voiceover Office Hours, if you're not already there, go ahead and request to join. I will approve you. And I will post that information there because I know that Facebook can handle it. And that way you can have it as a reference and read the article. It's very, very interesting and detailed. So, everybody, calmness, calmness, calmness. Wonderful. Okay. What else did I want to talk to you about? Oh, yes. So let's do... Yeah, everybody, Gary says, breathe in spyware and breathe out, my daw. And for those of you who don't know, there's so much fun voiceover vocabulary, and some people use it a lot and some people don't, but I want you to know what it is, because in the industry you're in, again, I want you to be conscious of what's out there. So DAW, D-A-W, is digital audio workstation, DAW. So people love to talk in abbreviations, so people won't say to you, hey, what is your digital audio workstation? Basically, what software are you using to record and edit? That's a DAW. But instead, somebody will say to you, hey, what's your DAW? And your DAW is Audacity or Studio One or Reaper or whatever the software is that you're using. So Audacity is a DAW. Pro Tools is a DAW. There are many DAWs. And Audacity, thankfully, remains a really, really good one. Happy dance. All right. Let's talk about independence from stress, anxiety, and worry. Anybody interested in that? Huh? Yeah, I'm raising my hand. Oh, jeez. Oh, I'm sorry, little Mike. Please be nice to your mic. I just smashed into my mic with my water bottle. I'm so sorry, little Mike. Please forgive me. Amanda says, I felt a bit like it was advertising for other DAWs. Amanda, tell me what that means. The only thing I don't love about chat is if you're trying to make a wonderful joke, then I don't get your facial expression or your intonation, so I'm not sure what you're saying there. So clarify that for me, Amanda. So this is one of the radical self-care tools that I love to teach. And I know some of you in the room today have been with me in workshops where I've taught this, so it'll be a beautiful refresher for you. So I want you to check in with yourself now. And on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is you're so relaxed you might be a noodle, you're very noodly, you might fall asleep in your Zoom square. By the way, I'd be honored if I was teaching you a relaxation tool and you fell asleep. You have permission. 10 is you're so stressed out or anxious or worried right now in your Zoom square, you might have a little panic attack. So 1 is noodle, 10 is panic. Just notice where is your stress, anxiety, worry level right now. There's only right answers, by the way, so just kind of notice where you are. If you're comfortable posting it in the chat, please do, okay? Everybody, where am I today? Where am I? Scale 1 to 10. I'm at about a 4 right now. I always feel pretty like amped up in a good way when I'm in voiceover office hours with all of you. So it's not really stress, it's more excitement. But Brent is nice and relaxed. Brent's at a 2. Yay, Brent. Aminda's at a 3. Very good. Susan's in the middle. Awesome. I know sometimes it's super stressful, even in a Zoom square. Isn't it amazing? We can be stressed out in a peaceful little Zoom square. We can, and there's nothing wrong with that. Beautiful. Warren's at a 4. Chris is at an 8. Thank you for sharing that, everybody. Okay, great. So I don't think, let me see. There's 18 of you here today. I don't know if anybody's on the phone. I want to check. Hold on. Anybody calling in on the phone? I don't think so. Okay, great. So the tool I'm going to give you, I would prefer you not do while you're driving, please. Not while you're operating heavy machinery. This is for when you're sitting or reclining or laying down. There are tools you can do safely and peacefully while you're driving. This is not in that category. So I want you to be always, always very, very safe indeed. So alternate nostril breathing, I learned about in the world of yoga. Any yoga fans or yoga humans in the room? I'm trained as a yoga instructor. That's how much I love it. This tool is taught a lot of places, but that's where I discovered it. It's called alternate nostril breathing. It kind of is what it sounds like. You're going to be breathing out of one side of your nose and then your other. And I'm going to talk you through a real-time experience of it once I explain to you what it is. And if you were in a yoga class, they would have you do a super fancy hand position called a mudra, which I believe is Sanskrit for hand. But they'd have you do your hand in a fancy way and block your nose on one side and block your nose on the other side. I say you can block your nose however you like. But basically, we're going to be blocking one nostril, breathing in to a count of 4, holding for a beat, and then breathing out for a count of 4. And we're going to be going back and forth with that a little bit. Now, before we do it, I want to tell you the science behind this is very interesting. There's a lot of really cool brain research that tells us that one of the things that happens, pretty much only naughty things happen when we're stressed, unless there's a real reason for us to be in fight and flight, right? And those reasons, thank God, are very rare. So if there's really not a reason to be running for our lives, but our body doesn't know the difference, those same chemicals of like, oh my gosh, maybe my life is in danger, are coursing through us, even when it's really just about an audition or a business meeting or a challenging conversation with a spouse or a significant other, a loved one, a friend, a family member, all of that. So when we get stressed, the two sides of the brain, the left and right side of the brain, they have a fight and they go off into different corners and they turn their back on each other and they're very cranky and they refuse to talk to each other. So they're busy talking to themselves, in the corner. So as you might imagine, when the two halves of the brain are not talking to each other, we don't feel very good. We feel contracted, we feel scattered, we feel funky. Things can fall off the mental hard drive. One of the big repercussions of stress, I really want all of you to hear me, is forgetfulness or inability to retain memory. So for the on-camera people who are trying to learn lines, if you're stressed about learning your lines, it's harder to retain them. So any sort of calmness or centering tool you can do before you memorize anything will help you retain, because it gets your brain talking, gets the brain chatting happily to each other. So that's what we're about to do. So because you're in a Zoom square, I invite you to close your eyes. If you're more comfortable shutting off your video, please feel free to do that. This is a very comfortable group. So please leave your camera on or off as you feel best doing. Settle in, close your eyes. I'm going to talk you through it. So go ahead and block your right nostril. Breathe in through the left, count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a beat. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch to block the left nostril, open the right. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the right, unblock the left. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the left. Breathe out through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the right. Breathe out through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the left. Breathe out through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last round. Breathe in through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the right. Breathe out through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deep breath in. Out with some sound. One more. Deep breath in. Out with some sound. That's very nice. I can always feel when there's some very nice breathing happening in the room, and that is what I am feeling here today. I adore this tool, and I am going to be very bossy pants and say that I feel like there was a shifting in the Zoom room of an increase in some calmness. And I would like you to notice now on that same scale of 1 to 10, again, 1 is noodle, relaxed noodle, 10 is panic attack. Where are you now? And I'm hoping that many of you are much closer to noodle than before we did that exercise. So if you are comfortable, go ahead and place in the chat, where is your number now? This is great. Yes, Aminda has posted the Sanskrit word for alternate nostril breathing, which is Nadi Shodhana. Beautiful. Thank you, Aminda. Yay. Look at all these beautiful things. Oh, Aminda's a yoga goddess. Woo! We should talk about that. Yay. I want to point out to all of you that this was about 30 seconds of breathing to change your level on that scale. And the reason I love this tool is because it works almost instantly. Now, if you're having a super cranky day or having a very challenging moment, maybe it'll take you a minute or maybe 2 minutes or even 5 minutes. There's no downside to doing as much of this as you need. But the thing I want to really give you is that it works so quickly, almost instantly, to change your state. And so I do some of this before I sit down to record anything, because what this does is it gives you full access to your brain talking to both halves of itself beautifully, which opens up your ability to access your intuition, your wonderful ideas, clarity of thought, calmness, relaxation in your instrument, a more full, beautiful piece of storytelling. It's just benefit after benefit after benefit. I just adore it. And of course, it has real practical applications outside the world of voiceover. So I am so happy to share that with you. Yes, Aminda says it's very good for brain fog. And brain fog is caused by one of the very many forms of stress. Brain fog can be about so many things, but because it does get the two hemispheres of your brain sharply, beautifully talking to each other, it's beautiful for brain clarity. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I adore that. And I'm a big fan, by the way. I love massage and I love yoga sessions, but I wanted things that you didn't have to take an hour out of your day and go somewhere else to do, even if it's into the next room. I want something where you can break the glass and use immediately and have an instant shift in your mind, heart, body, and spirit. Because as artists, let's say your agent says, hi, we have this audition, they've requested you, and we need it in the next 20 minutes. So before you sit down in front of your mic, I'd love for you to think of doing 30 seconds of alternate nostril breathing to get yourself really calm so you can have access to your treasure chest of goodies as you're telling your stories. Yeah, really, really good. Oh, that's just delicious and delightful. I feel like that might be a nice place to end office hours, but I want to see if we have any more questions. I can stay with you until the top of the hour. So how's everybody feeling? I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Thank you. Mindy says it was amazing. Aminda says, I am delicious and delightful. I will take it. You made me cry on the Zoom. Crying on the Zoom. Brent says, thank you. You're so, so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm going to trust my intuition here. My intuition is we just had a beautiful relaxation. I'm going to send you away on that beautiful wave of relaxation. I adore all of you. This is such a beautiful highlight of my month. Susan says she needs a nap. Please go take a nap if you need one. Yes, very good. I'm a big fan of naps. I nap every day, actually. I adore all of you. This replay will be up on the Facebook page probably by tomorrow morning, along with the articles I talked about. Please know that I adore you. I'm cheering for you. I am so thrilled to be a part of your voiceover village. And again, any of you for whom the mentorship calls, just drop your email in there, or you can email me directly. Just send me an email anytime. And I can't wait to see you next month. Have a beautiful, beautiful time and embrace your voiceover independence. Bye, everybody. Much love.